It's close to 6:30 by this clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Thanks to everyone for coming. I think Ms. Kim will be a few minutes late, but we'll catch her up on anything she misses. First item is the approval of the minutes. Let's look at those, please. And approve if so wish.
Anything? Looks good. Looks good to me. I guess I make a motion that we accept it as written.
Unless there's anything that we see needs correction or anything. So I hear a motion to approve.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Citizen comment. I don't see any citizens here, so moving on. Comprehensive plan.
All right, so this is, I've attached the ag element of the comprehensive plan. Some are marked, some of the goals are marked for 2021 and highlighted them. So I think now is a good time, not in this particular day, but now is the time to start looking at what we want to do next year. We kind of got thrown for a loop with insert natural disaster here as far as what went on this year. So with some of the ones that labeled for 2021, and then my recommendation would be is next meeting, let's just go ahead and say this is the order of operation we want to accomplish these items in. And so yeah, let's get it, there's no time like the future.
Okay, narrow us down. What pages are we talking about?
So well, about midway through, there starts to be little
Gray highlights? Is that what-
20.
black and white. We're trying to save money on printing in black and white today.
Right, so the highlights are gray.
Yeah. So
I
we
got
go
you.
down to,
It's about page 820.
Adam, you got another one of those packages?
sure.
All right, 820, gotcha.
So my recommendation is over the
On my
course of
phone,
next,
it's just hard to keep up there.
next month,
We put one down here.
just go through and see which ones kind of stand out to you, and let's kind of come up with a plan of action for next year at the next meeting. That's just my thoughts on it.
That sounds good to me.
And we'll do the same thing with the planning commission as well. Just kind of taking it, here it is, there you go. You can certainly add things that are in there. When things pop up, we can certainly talk about them, but.
All right, so pick our priorities in essence, right?
Exactly.
Work on, all right. Any comments? I think that's a great idea. There is one thing that is a good transition. think it was 8181. If it's even here. I don't see it, but, it refers to the Right to Farm Act, and, the disclosure statement's included in that. So let's go, if there's no comments on comprehensive plan, let's move to the Right to Farm Act proclamation, number 5. It was one of the highlights in the agricultural element. I believe it's, well, I'll try to remember the number, but it mentioned we were going to do that, and it's included in the Right to Farm proclamation. So it's kind of a good cross-reference. I'm glad it's included in that. But anyway, what do we need to talk about with the Right to Farm proclamation?
Is it ready to go to council?
You wrote that already, right?
It's written, and here it is for approval or not, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, if you all would like to send this to council, we just need a motion and a vote, and then after that, if you all wanna assign a person or persons to go bring it to council, you could do that as well.
Can somebody explain to me the purpose of the Right to Farm proclamation?
In some of our meetings in the past, we have said we were going to either support the state Right to Farm Proclamation Act or come up with Oconee's, and people said there's no use reinventing the wheel, let's support the state act. So that's what this does. This just says it recognizes that Oconee's a right to farm county. We respect and support the state Right to Farm Act, and it's got wording in there that leads to the disclosure statement. Is that in this one? Maybe not. Anyway, this is just to support the state Right to Farm Act, and this is something we said we were going to do when we came up with the agricultural plan, comp plan.
If I may. So, and the other part of it is, this council has been wholly very supportive of, between the comp plan, creation of the ag board, everything else that you all have sent out. They've been very supportive of agriculture. And that just the more times that the word agriculture can come out of their mouths during open session, the better. I think that's just the general idea, is that this doesn't change anything with the Right to Farm Act, but it gets it said out loud in public, just like everything else. Agriculture, just have it said one more time.
And hopefully it end up in the paper or an editorial or whatever. Anyway, we need to talk about the good things relating to agriculture and keep promoting it. That's part of our charge. In the bottom paragraph, it mentions the letter of disclosure. And that's the thing that we're working on to get not only Oconee County to provide, during sales transactions, to provide a letter saying you're buying property next to a farm, expect farming operations and sights and sounds and so forth. So that's included in support to the Right to Farm Act. That's something we're trying to get motivated, get them going.
So if I may, now, you sent this, and I guess I did read this portion of it. The ag disclosure thing's done, we've already addressed that. They've already addressed that. So is this about the Right to Farm Act? I guess,
Which, the disclosure statement is part of the Right to Farm Act. It helps understanding of people moving into the neighborhood of a farm.
But do we need to put that in the Right to Farm Act, because is it in the state as listed as that?
We hope it will be, but it's not right now.
But we want to do it for the county? Is that what we're saying?
Eventually apply it to the state.
Yeah.
If we can get enough support statewide.
I'm sorry, so we're getting off track here. So Right to Farm Act is what we're talking about, but we've added this paragraph here about something that they've already talked about, which isn't the Right to Farm Act.
If the board would like it removed, then make a motion. that sentence can come out as easy as it went in. Like Adam said, though, the more we present things to, ideas to them, I think the more support we're likely to gain. But they did approve, sending a letter, supporting a letter of support, to the disclosure to the, they supported that, so that's what we asked for. So it can come out of this if you want it. It can stay in if you want it, whatever's appropriate.
Well, wouldn't it be better, don't get me wrong here, but if we leave that in there, we're adding to the Right to Farm Act above what the state says, right? Because they don't have that in the Right to Farm Act under the state, right?
I don't know if they do or not.
No, it's
I
not.
don't think it do.
That's especially a future
But
thing.
do we wanna do that, or we wanna say this is what we're gonna be pushing for, and hopefully we can push this on through the state? Or do we wanna push the county to do it in the Right to Farm Act in Oconee County? Push it in our, we don't wanna, don't get me wrong, I think it, we need to get the word out, and this needs to be done, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, to me it is, I think that's just the disclosure letter, it needs to be done, period.
Okay.
But, do we need to put it in here?
The
Somebody else
council,
comment on this.
the council voted unanimously to support
To support it,
the
right?
creation of an ag disclosure when real property is transferred. This will add a layer of protection for farmers and farmland, not just in Oconee, but across the state. So they voted unanimously to support that. And by putting it in here, I don't mean for it to go over and beyond the state right to farm, but by putting it in there, I'm trying to create reminders and emphasis on it.
Okay.
And if that's right or wrong, you let me know.
Well, I don't know.
It's
I
Oconee
think in the-
County Council proclamation, it's not the state. So,
But I don't think they approved it for Oconee County, so they approved to send a letter to the state, correct? Was that how it happened?
They sent a letter of delegation, that's correct.
Right, so they didn't approve it as far as it already happening in Oconee County. So it's kind of confusing, I think, to put it
Yeah.
in there.
All right, well, that's correct. They didn't approve it, they just said they'd support it. So if it needs to come out, it's easy to do.
Rex, why couldn't we send that to our legislator? Can we do that? And let them think, I mean, of course, I know you're sending one, I don't know. I'm getting beyond I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know on this deal. But if we put this in, this is one of the things that we're really working on. It really needs to be done. Don't get me wrong. I've talked to a couple of legislators on it already. But the thing I'm saying is, we need to push this, but do we want to put it in here, or do we want to just keep pushing it to, like, we've got the county, they've agreed to it. Would it be a good thing for us to send a letter like to Thomas and Bill Whitmire, and, you know what I'm saying? Can we do that, Adam, or are we, what do you
No,
think? Give us
Our
something
chain
here.
of command goes to council. We don't really operate outside of.
So, okay,
We're an advisory board to council, so council has, we sent the letter, council approved it, so they sent it, so it would fall outside of us. And Rex talked about approaching delegation of himself, but I don't think he can be disassociated from his role of chairman and the ag board, talking about something of the ag board. It's just, as a citizen, it's hard to,
Right.
like, even the council members are citizens, they can comment however they want to, but they're still, at the end of the day, they're the council members, and you don't really have that disassociation of it. So that was when Rex had asked about that.
well,
So-
one thing I want to do though, what I'm saying is, we don't want it to fall under the table. We want that to go on if we can, right? Don't you?
Yeah, we can present it in another format at another time, I imagine. And you said we could talk to our legislators, talk to them. Is that appropriate, or is that?
No, so as the ag board, the chain command goes up to council, that's really the only step. So the letter that we wrote to council took and said, thanks ag board, it's a good idea, we're gonna go ahead and run with it. And they sent the the letter out. They signed it and they sent that letter out.
So they sent it out, did they send it out to the state?
Yes, they sent it out to all
Okay,
recreation members.
that's what I need to know, right there, okay.
They did. Now, if you want to, we should talk to your council members about them pushing it further on as the ag board, that would be the appropriate, the
Gotcha.
technical way from there up.
All right. Does everybody understand?
I don't understand that last part. We talked to them as the ag board.
So if we all want to talk to, so we all have already written, ag board's already written a letter to council. If you all want to continue to push that and say, hey, guys, you can. And that's up to y'all at the next meeting when we put it on the agenda. But, I mean, you can, but as far as what letters get sent out officially, they all basically go to council unless there's some kind of there's a rationale to go around council, which I don't really know there would be one.
Okay. All right, if that one's jumping ahead of itself, do we need a motion, or can I just strike it? Amend it, or whatever?
We can amend it with change, or accept it with, just leave it at the end of the, therefore, Cody County Council fully supports the South Carolina Farm Act and following the guidelines specified therein, period. I suppose that would be a good end to that,
Yep.
if that works.
All right, just cut it off after supporting the Right to Farm Act, I suppose.
Yep.
And so we just have to make a motion to accept it as amended and second it, and then vote.
So it can cut off, if y'all want to eliminate that, it can cut off after therein and period, instead of comma therein, period.
You can go all the way down to where it says, by supporting the Right to Farm Act, and period.
Yeah, where the comma is, that's what he's saying.
Okay. What are you talking about therein?
That's kind of redundant if you support the Right to Farm Act twice. I say just cut it off after therein and be done. I might,
Oh, okay, I got you.
I think so too.
That's, yeah.
unless you
specify
want a little
therein.
bit of another sentence
That's
to
true, okay,
say,
I was reading it, okay.
expand on that or whatever. That's adequate, I think. We're talking about the, Right to Farm Act proclamation, Kim, and separating the disclosure statement from it. It's a little premature, so. So Oconee County fully supports South Carolina Right to Farm Act and following the guidelines specified therein. A little dry, but I guess it works. Well, y'all, amend it however you want. I mean,
That
come up with
sounds
some
fine.
wording.
That sounds fine.
That sounds fine to me too.
Need a motion, I guess.
I move to accept it, as written with, the amendment of striking everything after in the last paragraph, after therein.
Good. We have a motion to strike, to end the statement in the last paragraph at therein.
I'll
With
second.
a period, we have a second.
I'll
Second?
second.
Okay. Any discussion?
I have a question about this one little, whereas currently, anyone in South Carolina resident or not can lodge a complaint against farming operation. And it's the farmer who must comply, even when abiding by laws and regulations. That's true to some extent, but, those complaints always, the farmer can work through that and they still have a right to farm, is what I'm saying. It seems like it's almost like it goes against the farmer no matter what. That's what, to me, when I read it the first time.
In talking to people that are more familiar, I think it does pretty much, it has the ability to hinder their operations and they must stop and make corrections if they're doing something wrong, which is
Well,
okay, but the nuisance lawsuits is what you get into when you read about the Right to Farm Act and the disclosure statements. It's the old story of the people moving in and then complaining about the farm when
Right,
they're the
right.
newcomers, and so.
but some people have fought that using the Right to Farm Act and have prevailed, farmers have prevailed because of the Right to Farm Act.
And they shouldn't have to, that's true, shouldn't have to fight it, but
But I mean, this
do.
almost says that they have to comply and there's no recourse is what, you know,
all right.
I'm just, I just hadn't had a chance, this is the first time I've seen this, so. So, am I missing something?
Well, I've talked to some poultry farmers, and that's what they indicate. Even if they're not doing something wrong beforehand, they have to let everybody know their intentions and get all the permits and all those things, and
I mean, I know that happens, I'm not saying it doesn't, I'm just saying that the purpose of the Right to Farm Act is to have a recourse for the farmer. You know, like, you know, the classic example is when the lakes came in and people from Oconee County fought the lake zones and won.
well, I ran it across by a couple of poultry farmers, and they said it was correct, so if we need to amend it or table it for further research, we can do that.
There's, okay, well, I mean, I just wanted some clarification to it, because that's not the only, I mean, we have more than poultry farmers too, that,
Have what?
we don't only have poultry farmers. Their situation is pretty, unfortunately, they have a lot of regulations that they have to deal with, that's true, that are in the books. But there are other farming operations, is what I'm saying, that this might not necessarily be true for.
I think what's giving her heartburn is where it says, and the farmer who must comply, even when abiding by all laws and regulations. I think that's kind of the, I mean, anyone can lodge a complaint, that's true. You're not gonna stop that, but I think what I hear her saying is the farmer, and it's the farmer who must comply, even when abiding by all laws. Farmers abide by the laws, so I think that's what.
Yeah, the state basically turned over to DHEC the laws that concern, again, poultry especially.
Well, even
And so
with the,
if there's a way to word it better, I'm all ears. We can cut it down or
I'm just, if there's, it
modify it.
seems to me like there's a word missing or something like it. I mean, they don't always have to comply with the complaint, is what, I mean, it seems like you're complying with whatever the complaint said.
They can stop it after farming operation if you wish.
I don't know if that'll, I just think it needs to be a little clearer.
What about Mr. Root?
No,
No?
I'll certainly give it to them, no, because I got nothing to run past them. Yeah, because it hasn't been, you'll have to still look back at it. It will.
I had usually at one time, and I guess I took usually out.
Yeah, it needs to.
It could say, and it usually is the farmer who must comply. But if that's not true, then I don't want to put it in there, so.
I think she's going back to a lawsuit that was even here in Oconee County where they used the Right to Farm Act to change some of the laws, and everyone, I mean, that's why you have the issue of the free zone and then traditional rule as opposed to agriculture. Because of some of these issues, I think that's the wording that Debbie keeps going back to, is it's not the farmer. If the farmer's doing everything right, the farmer does not have to comply with the complaint, and that may not be what you're trying to say, Rex. I'm
That,
not
yeah, that's what I'm
sure
saying,
I'm
it sounds like they
following.
have to comply with whatever the complaint is. Maybe it's even when the farmer complies with laws regardless of a complaint.
Yeah.
And a complaint
We
doesn't
can't-
change that.
You can't stay in business, right, of course, so.
So, I mean, to me, it sounds like if somebody complains, then the farmer must comply with whatever that complaint is what, so it's, to me, it's missing something.
I think that whole one sentence should be taken out and said, complaints against any farming operation if they're not abiding by the laws and regulations.
Well, that's true, and
I
I'm
mean,
not,
you know, that would,
but it almost sounds,
you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I trust that the most of the farmers are obeying the regulations and doing their best to do diligence, so, we can end it after operation if you wish, or take the whole thing out. I don't care.
it's fine, I want it to, doesn't sound like, I don't want it to sound like the farmer always has to comply with whatever the complaint is.
Okay.
And to me, when I read it, that's how it sounds.
Make
There's
a motion
something,
to amend it.
yeah, I don't know. I'm just asking for some input on that.
Do we already have a motion on the table, though, do we not? Did I miss it?
There is,
There's no motion on the table.
We're having discussion, this is
right,
the
this is
discussion.
discussion at the moment in time. If we want to amend the motion, that's the person who made the motion can certainly amend it to just say, you know, with edits as discussed. We don't have to like delve into all the edits, we'll catch them on the video. So if we want to amend the motion to say, you know, as, with edits as discussed, that can certainly be done just by the person who made the motion.
So we need to amend the motion until we can, do we have to state what the
No, just with
amendments?
the edits as discussed.
Just amend the motion to make changes to the proclamation. We don't have to be specific about the change.
Sure.
I just soon nail it down now if we could.
Yeah, I don't know why we can't discuss it right now and just see if there's a better way we can word that. I'm trying to,
We need somebody.
It needs more research, is that what you're saying, Debbie?
I think I can read it a couple of times and figure out what's bothering me. If we can just discuss it.
Is the edit that, Mr. Hollifield offered not what you were thinking? Because
Well,
it
yeah, I don't
covered what I thought
That's
your
what I
complaint
think.
was.
Read it, then say it
All
again.
right. Whereas currently anyone, South Carolina resident or not, can lodge a complaint against any farming operation if they are not abiding by laws and regulations.
I think
That
that
sounds
sounds better.
That sounds
So
better.
now the motion is to accept the proclamation with the edits as discussed.
So the motion is to pass this thing. The amendment is to, farmer, must comply if they are not abiding by all laws. Did I hear that?
Laws and regulations.
They can lodge the complaint if the farmer is not abiding by the laws.
I just soon
see how
outsiders
that
not
adds
complain, you know, because as it is now, Jimmy's cousin in Kentucky can complain about your poultry farm, and then it causes problems, and if they're not complying, or if it causes DHEC to come making another inspection and they miss something, then they need to comply, and they will. So it'd be nice if you needed to be the neighbor to be the complainant, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. Whereas anyone can, resident or not, I don't like that phrase either, but can lodge a complaint against an operation, and if they're not abiding by all laws and regulations, they must comply. Is that what we
Yeah,
hear?
they would have to comply anyway.
Since we're amending it, okay. Does that amendment pass? Y'all agree? Everybody vote on the amended copy? All those in favor of the amendment as we've read, say aye.
Aye.
And if there's any opposition, I guess say aye. Okay, we will amend it as requested, so.
Got that?
I hope.
Okay, we will certainly find out.
And I wouldn't mind helping someone that's not a neighbor not complain. Does that make sense? I'd like it if it had to be a neighbor or somebody, but
That's a DHEC
That's a-
regulation there.
that's a DHEC thing, right? So, okay, Farmer's Resource Guide. Wonderful job. Got a lot of good contacts in here. We intend, this is one of our initial initiatives, was to provide a document we could hand to a new person that's interested in establishing a mushroom farm or goats or whatever, and who to contact as far as if they want to build a chicken house. Here's DHEC and all these things. Assistance, where to go for assistance. Brief explanation, links to all the important places. Listing of extension folks. And all the agricultural folks that we could come up with. I think this is probably a amendable document, isn't it, folks? Surely we can add to it when we want to. We told council we'd try to make it available online to save the cost of publishing initially, and then at some point ask for money to publish it. I think that's what we discussed.
On page 11, the county extension office, Morris Horn is retired on the bottom.
Yes, we mentioned that to the authors, and they will.
There's another copy that's after, since this one that
Oh,
we don't
okay.
have, it's been removed. But it would be nice if people could look at it and pick out those kinds of changes.
From Marcy's phone number is it's the number of the extension service anyway.
I would
So,
call them anyway, but I'm just, I'm
Yeah.
just trying to.
Y'all have worked hard on this, and it's been
Yeah, it's
a long document in the process because of various interruptions, no fault of our own, but there was talk also of a shorter version, like a handout or something that could just list the most brief of contacts, and I think I saw that last meeting. It's out there, so
they did a good job,
it's very good.
very good.
Yeah.
Did we not mention in the last meeting that mention of specific farms was not allowed? So we need to strike the other roadside markets section.
The mission of what?
The mention of specific farms was not allowed, and so we need to strike the other roadside market
From page
section.
16 through 19.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we can't push out private business.
okay.
Yeah, and then the farmer's markets, this information is, we talked about that, is out of date.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, we can make this.
Once it's tweaked, is it pretty close to being on the county website, maybe?
Well, I mean, so all these pictures in here are nice, but we gotta we can't run with any of the pictures, anything like that, cause some of them, they're just screen grabs, which is fine, it's good sense for here, but like, I don't know whose picture this is, we can't use the Farm Bureau stuff. The content, yeah, we can put into a one pager and run with. If you all want a more in-depth thing, then we're gonna have to go in-depth, but we can certainly throw this into the one page, or if we maybe reach out to these individual groups and ask for actual logos and things of that nature, because as soon as we go to publish these, they get all grainy. I mean, even online, they get a little pixelated. So we can start reaching out, try to get their actual PDFs of these and things like that. But yeah, I mean, if the information's good, I trust that you all can verify that, then we can certainly put it into a final format and put it up.
So I suppose we need a motion to, tweak it one more time, or a couple more times to get everything appropriate.
And remove the markets, roadside markets.
The beekeeping part right there, I'd like, to me, it just seems like it's all in a block, left justified thing. If it could go out a couple of lines, that'd be good, kind of match the other format better.
Yeah, we got it.
So,
You have the other one?
Did somebody bring it to the last meeting, or was it sent ahead of time?
It was a few meetings back, but that's okay.
I wasn't at the last meeting, so it was at the last meeting, but I do not have it. Somebody brought it to the last meeting, no one gave it to me. And I do think another updated one of these was sent after all this stuff went out, but this had already gone out for this meeting.
so we need a motion to amend it and finalize it. Is that correct?
Sure, who's gonna do that? Is it gonna be me? Is it going to be y'all? How would y'all like to do that? Before we get too far. I can take this and put it into if this, all this information with the exception of Mr. Warner is good, then I can take this and I can put this into a final format, if that's what you all want. But if you all think you need some more time to look at it and make sure all the information is correct, that's the difference.
I think it needs one more go round by everyone to look at it. Yeah.
Well, can I make a suggestion?
You can make a motion if you want to.
Well, well, we can do that, but I see suggestion that we all get a copy of what you have as a final thing. And then go through there, and if we know of something that's out of whack, I mean, not correct or whatever, needs tweaking, that we can bring that back to next month's meeting. Or contact you, maybe just contact you and have you,
Have it changed.
make those changes, and then bring it to the meeting.
It would save time.
It would,
Just email
yeah.
Sandra back immediately and then,
Yeah,
And then
just,
let
and
her
then
email.
when we present it next time, it'll be corrected, and then give it to Adam.
So the corrections, right now, is Marsh Warner's name.
Farmer's market
And the
information.
farmers, the roadside market.
No, the farmer's market information is.
The roadside markets, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, the
Remove
roadside market.
businesses.
You're gonna move the businesses off the road, off the, like the
Yeah,
fruit
right.
stands and stuff? You're gonna move the businesses off, right?
Right.
The last two pages?
It could just say, for a list of roadsides market, you can access it.
So we don't wanna,
But what I was saying, the local farmer's market information is incorrect.
well, that can be, yeah, but I'm talking about the roadside.
Yeah, I
market.
know that. Yeah, he
So you're
said that
gonna
we
take
couldn't put
that off?
that on there.
Is that what we talked about?
that's what Adam said, we cannot,
Okay, so that's gonna come off.
all of those, 2.5 pages.
Where is an appropriate place to transfer the roadside market to? To go to the farm center advertised then, or they're already the market, so not really.
I think probably just direct people to
Where they can access the
Yeah.
list.
South Carolina Department of Agriculture, even though they're not all correct either.
Yeah, they're definitely not all correct
So-
either.
But,
They're
Well,
wrong.
whatever's appropriate, we'd like to support them, but I understand we can't in this document,
I
so.
know, Mr. T, but we're gonna get rid of all of them.
All right, so we're gonna take one more look and give the corrections to Ms. Sandra and bring it up next time, is that right? Okay,
Can you email the final copy that you have? Can you
Yeah.
email it?
I can, do I need to send it to Adam and let him send it
Yeah.
out? Right. And he has the latest one, I think, but this is not, because I didn't do it till this weekend,
Okay.
so.
Can you send it
So
out to
if
each
you
one?
didn't do it till this weekend, I definitely don't have it.
Right, and it went under an odd email too. I didn't realize that till it was already sent out.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, so if you send that to me, I will
Okay.
certainly send it out.
Okay.
I'd like to make a comment that y'all did a wonderful job on this. This
Yeah.
is great.
yes, it is.
It's great. I like it, so if I like it, most
If you
everybody,
like it, it's.
if I like it, most everybody else does.
That's good, it's a good document, very good.
Very good.
There was a good article in the paper about forestry a while back and what it means, and, let's write the paper and advertise agriculture, and, we're sorry to learn Mr. Ed Land resigned from the board. He's just got many, many things going on in a busy world, so he had to step back for a while, so we would like to thank him for his service. And I don't have anything else. Do you all have anything? I believe there's a baseball game on. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll second.